Welcome back to another episode of Wisco Fanatics. Our first Packer episode of the year. We're going to be live today. We're taking next week off, and then starting on the 19th, it's 2 weeks. Yep, starting on the 19th, we'll have every Tuesday through the end of the year, which is going to go through February. So it's going to be an exciting time. Hope everybody can join us every week. But we got myself, Simon, Bryant. We're going to cover a few things today. President and front office. We're going to do additions and departures, and some positional battles. So without further ado, we're going to play the intro, and then we're going to get this thing rolling here.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
So again, we'd like to extend another thank you to Cardboard Legacy for sponsoring us for another year, and congratulations for making it to their 3-year anniversary. If you're in the Fox Cities area and you're looking for a good card shop to go to, they're absolutely the best. Nick and Riley, they are quite literally the nicest people I think I've ever met in my entire life. And I feel like I'm a nice guy, but they make me feel like I'm not as nice as I think I am because they're just so nice. But first thing we're going to talk about is Packers president change. It's a big topic to talk about. So obviously, everybody can tell that Tyler's not here. He is on husband duty tonight. So he is doing what he needs to do to make sure that his house stays as good as it possibly can. So with that being said, that means I'm in charge. So things are about to get bumpy. So you better have your seatbelt on. I'm going to read Tyler's notes. So Tyler's notes on
no, you don't read well.
Not as well as Tyler. He said, went to Notre Dame and Stanford. So he's smart. Been working in football since Tool. I don't know what that means. With Green Bay since 2012 with his law degree. Promoted to COO and general counsel in 2018. He was part of the group that brought the draft to Green Bay. Having been around the team since right after the last Super Bowl, I'm confident that he understands the value of what has been established. 100% agree with that. He goes on to talk about Mark Murphy. I've loved seeing him getting his farewell tour, including the draft and the shareholders meeting. Yeah, Mark, I've got some things to say about Mark Murphy. Last thing he said before I throw it over to Bryant, he said, I can understand policy wanting to get established in his role before extending Goot and Matt LaFleur, both of which I think will happen, but I think they'll want to make it kind of a special thing about them as policy's first big move. Actually, I don't hate that mindset. So, Bryant, what thoughts do you have on the president and front office change?
Yeah, before I move on to ed policy, I just want to say for Mark Murphy, man, he did so like that. What he did for this team is insane. All the expansions, the additions to Lambeau Field. I never seen it before. What I've coming to know now. I've gone there for a game the last 3 or 4 years in a row now. After the expansion was complete, actually they did put up the new. They put up the new scoreboard and stuff. I think since I started going. But obviously we were all at the draft. He's been pushing really hard to get that there, help build Titletown, help build all that stuff, got that draft out there. What Mark Murphy did for the Packers, helped build that $400 million something slush fund that they have. I mean, he's pretty much set up this organization for long-term success in Green Bay. He's going to be sorely missed. Like, he's an amazing just a leader. If I'm any other organization that can hire this guy, I'm calling and throwing all the money I can at him. I know that because our bylaws, he has to retire, but I've seen someone pitch the idea of like, hey, if I'm the NFLPA, I'm like reaching out to this dude for president or something like that. Like, because he did play too. So, he's probably, if he wants to work, he can have another job. I'm sure whenever he wants it, where he wants it. But I think if I'm a betting man, I bet he stays around Green Bay and just enjoys retirement. And you'll probably see him around the stadium lot. And I'll say, for as important and big as this, like as a big of a figure this guy was, we ran into him a few times, and he had like no issues stopping and taking a picture with us, being super friendly, giving you a few minutes of his time. So awesome person. Now on ed policy, I feel very confident that he's pretty much been shaped by Mark Murphy the last 13 years or so. Ed policy came out and talked about how he will miss having Mark Murphy around because he's been such a great mentor. But I trust that Mark Murphy, who's made amazing decisions for the organization. I know he didn't technically make this decision, but let's be honest, he pretty much did, right? Of who was going to be the person to take over for him. So I feel like he was kind of hand selected by Mark Murphy anyway. So I trust his ability to find someone and pick someone that he believes is going to continue to carry on the tradition, just like he did, and continue to do great things for the Packers. So I'm excited about the younger core we have with Ed Policy, Brian Gutekunst, and Matt LaFleur. So yeah, future's bright.
Simon, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it kind of just a lot of. I was gonna bring up Mark Murphy as well. Like everything that he's done for this organization has been for the best, and between him and Policy, Titletown, and what we know, Lambeau Field and the atrium and all that stuff is due to them and their decision making. So hats off to them. And like Brian said, we both met him like multiple times, and he seemed like he was just like he didn't have any issues with either one of us coming up to him and just like taking a quick picture with us and shaking hands. I mean, he's a busy dude, so you can't get too much of his time, but it's really cool that he's just like able to walk around Lambeau Field like no problem. And we just what was that? Where did we see him that one time? It was just
we
like
at
a concert.
in Atlanta, actually. The first time we ran into him was in Atlanta. We were at a Packers pep rally, and we said hi to him, and then we're like, shoot, we should have grabbed a picture. So I didn't go. Simon chased him down, got a picture with him, and he was cool with it. You know what I mean? Like, so we ran into him at a Packers prep rally in 2000 at the NFC Championship game. Actually, no.
That was earlier that season. We played
that season at that game.
That same season. But we saw him outside like a concert that was like hosted by Lambeau Field as well, and it was cool. He's such a nice dude, and it's gonna be. I mean, the Packers are gonna miss him, but like. Ed Policy, I don't know if you guys were in like the internet area when he came out and like they did his presser, and there was a couple things that came out, and like the first one, people really were like, oh yeah, like, or when he was like, oh, like we haven't like made that decision to extend Matt LaFleur or something, and like I'm with Jake on this one. It would take an absolutely disastrous season for him not to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Goot and LaFleur have done a really good job. Obviously, we're still kind of like hoping they get over the hump or whatever, but they've done such a good job. And I think people kind of forget like that transition period between Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams to Jordan Love and like what it is now. Like that's tough. Not everyone can do something like that. Yeah. I think the Packers have done a pretty good job with that. And the other thing was like he made a comment about like keeping the Packers in Green Bay, and everyone like freaked out over it. And it's just more or less because it's like they leased the land that they're on, and there hasn't been like a formal like agreement between the Packers organization and the city of Green Bay. Like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know that Green Bay. It sounds like the Green Bay City mayor is being kind of a little more difficult with it. I'm not going to get into the politics of that because I don't live in that area, so I don't want to pretend like I know. But that team's not going anywhere. Yeah. And then, like I can't see Matt LaFleur and Gutekunst going anywhere. But I feel like as the president, he has the right to see what happens this year. And,
I agree. But, all the things that he echoed and talked about were the same things Mark Murphy talked about when he took over, whatever, 17 plus years ago or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So, like, the organization's in good hands, in my opinion. I think we're going to continue seeing it head in the right direction. And I think because of the success of the NFL draft, it's going to happen in Green Bay again at some point.
Yeah.
Which I would absolutely go back and do it again. That was a blast.
Especially since they're never going to have a Super Bowl here. I think having a draft here is a fair consolation prize. Also, before, that was Tyler's notes that said that. That was not my thoughts, but I'm glad you agree because Tyler's a pretty smart guy. My thoughts on the situation. First of all, I'm going to triple down on the Mark Murphy stuff. Super down-to-earth guy. For a guy in his position to just be able to stop. And, like, this is, like, it's such a Wisconsin thing, a Midwest thing to just be like, oh, hey, yeah, nice to meet you, and just shake your hand and like have a conversation with you and just be a guy, like he could just big time us. He could have just been like, no, not right now, I'm busy, like I got somewhere to be. But for him to stop and like, first of all, acknowledge you, shake your hand, look you in the eyes, and like, that was honestly that was probably the highlight of the draft for me. Other than Matthew Golden, that's a core memory. I'll never forget that day. That was amazing.
Yeah.
But Mark Murphy, great guy. The thing that people forget that he also was a part of a transition from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. And I remember going to the first practice, because I used to go to practice all the times with my dad when I was younger. I remember going to the first practice after the Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers transition. And there were people holding up signs saying, "Kill Mark, get Mark out of here." Like, people were freaking out because Brett Favre was like, he was the shit in Green Bay, in the state of Wisconsin. He could do no wrong. There's still people that view Brett Favre that way after everything that he's done over the last couple of years. Again, we're not going to get into politics, but it is what it is. And then he goes from the transition from three-time MVP to a 4-time MVP, and now going from a 4-time MVP to a kid that nobody thought should have been drafted in the first round, who's going to sit on the bench for 3 years, just like the 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers did. And then look at our team now. We've been the youngest team now. This is the third consecutive year that we're going to be the youngest team in the NFL. They made the playoffs the last 2 years. Yeah, it's the third straight year.
No, I said projected.
Projected. You have to do all the cuts.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My fault. It is projected to be the youngest roster. So for them to completely retool after having all pros going to NFC Championship games, winning 13 games with Matt LaFleur when he first gets here, that's another thing I was going to bring up is all the coaching changes we've had to go through with Mike McCarthy into LaFleur and like having the success with that. Unbelievable stuff by Mark Murphy. I mean, on top of everything that you guys have said. Now, my thoughts on Ed Policy is he's business. When I look at that guy, I'm like, I don't know if I want to piss that guy off. He looks like a guy I don't want to piss off, honestly. I was watching Family Night, and he's standing there, and I'm just like, damn, man, he's got like a kind of, he looks cold, like he has a cold look to him. You know what I mean? Like it's intimidating a little bit. You know, he the way he carries himself. I mean, going to Notre Dame and Stanford is big time stuff. Those are hard schools to get into for regular people, not athletes. It's a little bit easier for them to get in, but it's just going to be business as usual. I think having as many smart people that we do, people that have been in the community. It's just going to be easy transition as well. So we're going to get into I'm going to read a comment here. I'm going to change the banner. And I'm going to read Steve's comment here. He said, first order of business is to beat the Bears. Wait, we already do that. It's a good point, Steve. It's a very good point.
Lions.
Well, but if you listen to Bears fans, they're all flexing about them beating us.
Oh, my God, I know. It's exhausting.
Kind of like we didn't have half of our starters out and everything, but
it's okay. I've been
that banner.
I've been working the Chicago fans about the Brewers and the Cubs. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, they're so hurt, dude.
You guys ever seen our quarterback?
Wisconsin gets to ruin your summer, and then you get to look forward to fall, and then we get to ruin your fall, and then you look forward to the winter time with the Bulls, and then we get to ruin your winter, and then it starts all over again. It's just a constant cycle of us whooping your ass all year long, and I love it. I'm here for it.
I'll say this. I don't think I've ever seen a video of a Packers quarterback missing a net and then throwing a tantrum on a field, and then have the team post the video
and then delete it.
And then delete it later on.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part. I didn't know it got deleted because I started seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, it was
then I saw later they were like, "Oh yeah, they
deleted
it." I was.
Why would they post that?
Yeah,
why would you post that?
I have no idea.
There's got to be there's one snake in the building, dude.
Like, look at this bum.
He wanted Jaden Daniels.
Look at this dude.
Look at this dude.
So next order of business, we're going to talk about the coaching staff, and the one guy that we really have to talk about is a new D-line coach, DeMarcus Covington. So since I went to Brian first in the last one, I'm going to go to Simon first on this one. What's your thoughts on DeMarcus Covington?
I mean, I don't have a ton to say because at the end of the day, we just don't know yet. But it's obviously there was a change needed. Otherwise, they just wouldn't have done it. And I think our D-line has been underwhelming for what we are. In my perception, the talent we have on the D-line hasn't lived up to what they could be. Yeah. And so a change is needed. Covington's obviously coveted. No, that wasn't good. Okay, sorry. Coveted by the Packers, and I mean, we'll see. At the end of the day, we'll see if we can turn on the D-line. I've read some good things from some of the players that are maybe unknown around the camp. LVN, who everyone kind of expect. I don't want to like dive too far into this, but from all accounts that I've heard and seen, just obviously I'm not there, but on like Packers Twitter sphere and stuff, is like he's taking a step forward. And then you got like Brinson and Stackhouse are, I see like 1 or 2 plays a day from them. But yeah, Steve, I agree. So at the end of the day, we'll see. I change was needed. I think they did the right thing, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah. So for me, I think it says a lot, the fact that they didn't really add anything to the defensive line other than undrafted free agent and Brinson, who was a later pick, but they replaced the coach. So I feel like they kind of seen that the coach just was not getting a job. Now, Covington, he was with, the Patriots since 2017. And if you remember, they had some pretty damn good defensive fronts and good against the run and everything like that when he was their defensive line coach. And one of the defense coordinator, he was, as Simon said, coveted. A lot of people were looking at him for a head coaching position there for a while. So I think he can bring some, good fundamentals and all that to this defensive line. Sounds like they've moved LVN inside a little bit. They're kind of moving people around, so it's got me excited. There is one other big coaching change we need to talk about too, and that's Tom Clements is gone, and we've gone to Sean Mannion now. Thank you to Tom Clements coming back. Hopefully
build the statue.
In 15 years, when we decide to draft Love's replacement 3 years prior, maybe we can roll Clemens and on his deathbed, and you can quarterback whisper that person too. Not to be grim, but he's older or whatever. Like he came out of retirement for this, so. But we're definitely going to miss him. But hopefully he kind of taught Sean Mannion some things. And hopefully, Sean Mannion can get through to Love, work on the fundamentals. People will be talking about Love throwing off his back foot and throwing sidearm. Guess what? That's what makes him kind of special. Like he can make off-platform throws. I don't want him to completely get out of that game. Don't get me wrong. I want the quick little slants and all that to be in rhythm and on that back foot, fire the ball. And, but I like the fact that he can, drop back and throw off his back foot. And part of that, his ability, that's a big reason he doesn't take that many sacks, right? So only 22 sacks last year. Our offensive line was good, but he has a lot of credit for that too. So, but yeah, another big change with Sean Mannion, but obviously DeMarcus Covington is the biggest change, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so obviously you guys mentioned that his first 8 seasons were with the Patriots. The first 7 were with Bill Belichick, where there was actually a piece wrote by Wes on Packers.com where he talks about working with Bill Belichick, and he said he was going to get a master's degree in football because this guy was a wide receiver in college. And they switched him to a football assistant, I believe, his first year out of college, and then he started working with the defensive line. With the Patriots, he was a coaching assistant in 2017, 2018. He was outside linebacker in 2019, outside linebacker coach in 2019, followed by a defensive line coach from 2020 to 2023. And then last season, he was a defensive coordinator for 1 year. So he's worked his way from the bottom to the top, and now he's trying to earn his keep again with the Packers. But the most interesting thing I think that I read is that this is his first time working with first rounders. He didn't have any first rounders in New England.
Really?
In the positions that he was coaching, he didn't have any first rounders. Which is
we have a plethora of them.
He talked about that a little bit in the piece that I shared with Tyler. He said the front office has done a really, really nice job getting talented guys here. He's like, you could see why they were first round draft picks. I mean, you just look at LVN, you're like, yep, that guy's probably playing in the NFL. You look at Rashawn Gary, you're like, guy's probably playing in the NFL. And then you look at 3-time Pro Bowler Kenny Clark, and it came out, a couple months ago that he was, playing with a bad toe. I believe it was, right? Was it a bad toe?
Ankle?
Oh, it was ankle. I knew it was something lower leg. But, if Kenny Clark can have a bounce back year, Wyatt can stay healthy. I mean, there's talent all over this roster. And for him, he's a guy, and this is what I get from just reading about him. He talks about, he's not just going to talk about stuff, he's going to go do it. So if he's talking about doing something, he's going to show an example. And he's in great shape still, by the way. He looks like he could throw some pads on and go out there and rip somebody's head off too. But, being a fiery guy with the young roster that we have, I think is going to be a really, really nice fit. And he's a guy that He takes meticulous notes, is what they wrote in here, and if he's really that detailed and he really cares that much with a guy like Halfley, who is also young and wants to win, with a guy like LaFleur, who's been this close, right? He wants to get over the hump, get to the big show at least. You got to get to the big show at some point, right? Now winning it would be a whole different story, but having him there, with a Halfley, I think squeezing the most out of this defensive line is the biggest thing for me. Tyler he didn't really write too much on DeMarcus Covington or any other coaches. So we're going to go to departures. Tyler wrote down that Jair Alexander was released. Do you guys have anybody else that of noteworthy that was let go?
Nothing too crazy.
I got one.
Who you got?
I mean,
TJ Slayton.
Yeah.
It's like the other. The only so the only reason is because I don't know if you guys noticed last year, but our run defense was pretty solid.
Yeah.
And TJ Slayton was a big part of that.
Yeah.
He didn't offer too much as a pass rush, and I think that's why the Packers kind of were okay with letting him go in free agency. But he led all defensive tackles in run stop win rate last year.
Yeah.
So that's why I like that they went and got Nazir Stackhouse as a UDFA. I thought he was one of the better prospects left on the board after the draft was all said and done. So we'll see. And by all accounts, everything I've seen out of him in camp is like he started running with like the ones and the twos. So I think so far, I think he has a good shot to make this team.
Oh yeah, I would put money right now. He'll be the UDFA that we keep after everything I've seen coming out of camp and stuff. The way he's playing, popping off the tape and all that. But Jai. So Simon talked about Slayton. That's a big one. But Jair, obviously, that's a big one. When healthy, great cornerback, right? But he's already missed time and had to have his knee drained in Baltimore. Yep. Now you could say, well, we just had Hobbs have to have knee surgery. You can't we're not going to do that, right? We're not. It's not. They're not related. Jair had missed something like 36 out of 64 games or something, more than half the last 4 years. So I understand why they moved on. Now, if he goes in Baltimore and has a great year and he stays healthy all year, great. I'm happy for him. There's no way we could have seen that coming.
Yeah.
At what point do you have to cut bait? You know what I mean? We can't just hold on forever. So obviously big departure, but sounds like Keyshawn on the outside has looked good, and he played pretty good on the outside last year. Sounds like Hobbs looks good in the slot when healthy. Carrington Valentine continues to pick off passes, and we just brought Corey Ballantyne back, who is a very good depth piece for us. Corey Ballantyne, when he had to go in and play some games when there was people injured, he played pretty well, actually. It wasn't a huge, we didn't lose games because he was on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Jair is a, big loss, if you want to say that, but this was an 11-win team without Jair last year. Jair played something like 5 games. So, when you start talking about departures versus arrivals, I would say we definitely gained. We have a net gain this year.
Yeah. The person I wrote down too, I should have thought of TJ Slayton. That's very, very good of you, Simon. I wrote down Jair Alexander. Not only, the player on the field, but maybe the guy in the locker room. He's an energy guy, high energy, positivity. That's something that, some teams struggle when they lose that, but the Packers are young enough and they're close enough that I think that they'll be okay. Cornerback's obviously going to be a position that people are watching the entire year. I think the D-line is going to take a big jump up this year. I think they're going to be a lot better, more consistent. Now, they did end up with 45 sacks last year, which was, I believe, it was top 10. I think it was
8.
7. Were they 8th? Okay. I knew they were top 10. I knew they were towards the bottom, too. But in terms of run defense, we were good on the run defense. So we were number 10 in run defense, I believe, right?
Rashawn, I don't know actual stats. Rashawn Gary also took a huge step forward in run defense last year. He looked good.
Yeah, I think people focus too much on the sack word, and they don't think about run defense, setting the edge, all that other good fun football stuff that you have to think about when considering top edges in the league. Zach said Valentine was very underrated and good. I think Valentine is a good player.
For For the sack numbers, real quick, I think the issue that people will run into is a lot of it. Our defensive line needs to produce more of those. Like Edrin Cooper had a good amount of sacks last year. Quay Walker had a few sacks. Keyshawn Nixon had like 3 sacks from the slot. Like the safeties and stuff had a few sacks.
Had one too.
Yeah. So we need that more to come from. We need a 10 sack season guy. I honestly think Edge Cooper could do that this year. That's a bold take right there from me.
That'd be wild.
But
because I don't think that's not the way they want to play him. They can they would. Yeah, they want to try to rush for it. So depending on how things go, because I think that's one thing Jeff Hafley did really well last year, not to get too off topic, is like he adjusted the game plan to allow the defense to create more pressure by using simulated pressure from other positions. Mm-hmm. So that'd be wild if he got 10 sacks. I would be ecstatic, but I don't think that's the way they want to play him.
Yeah, and I agree with you. So that's where we need Rashawn Gary and our LVN to step up, and one of these dudes to put up Gary's getting paid like a top guy. We need this guy to have I know he gets a lot of pressure and stuff, but you got to get home like 14 sacks or something this year. Like we need something like that from one of these guys to really kind of take I feel like we need something like that to take this defense to the next level.
Yeah. Real quick before we go on, I want to go back to Wes. He said, I don't think we gave up a 100-yard receiver. We did. It was in week 1 against
Justin Jefferson cooked us too.
No. But he had like 90-some yards. AJ Brown had 119.
Oh yeah, he broke that big 70-yarder.
Yeah, he had that huge 70-yarder. I was trying to think back because I knew that it didn't happen a lot. But
great, now I'm seeing that play in my head. So now I feel better about getting rid of Jair. So thank you for that. In terms of keeper, Tyler wrote down Isaiah McDuffie. It's a good keeper. He came pretty cheap. Guy makes tackles. He's not great in coverage, but if you put him in the role as a Sam linebacker, strong side, where he can just defend the run, perfectly fine with that. I feel like he was a lot better once Edgar Cooper got established in the middle as well. McManus, obviously a great signing. Heard nothing but great things out of camp. He's been money McManus. Telfort, John Fitzpatrick, backup tight end, and we already talked about draft picks in May. So if you guys have any thoughts on the keepers, the guys that we re-signed to keep around?
No, not really. For Isaiah McDuffie, I know this is not talking about keepers, but it sounds like bringing in Isaiah Simmons and Tyron Hopper are really starting to kind of play well. So I think Isaiah McDuffie, we could see him relegated to more of a backup role, which he's fine. He's okay in the role he's in, but we definitely if Isaiah Simmons or Tyron Hopper can take that step and up, either of those two start taking more snaps than Isaiah McDuffie, we're going to have a whole lot of speed on the field because Tyron Hopper's quick. Isaiah Simmons is obviously quick. And then Edge Coop and then Quay Walker are all very fast players. So, it could be really fun to watch go sideline to sideline.
Yeah. Jefferson did have 2 really good games with us. He didn't have over 100 yards in either of them, though.
Yeah.
He had 92 and 85.
And then the Vikings just had a wide receiver suspended for 3 games.
Yeah. For what was the official term for it? Something wet or
I don't know.
They downgraded it from like a DUI to wet something. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah, wet driving or something.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? That's not real. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only 3 games and
we don't play them in those 3 games.
It's not gonna matter for us.
Yeah. It might by the end of the year if they lose.
Yeah. If they lose, it could. But I think they play the Bears week 1.
Oh,
yeah.
One of the few games every year I cheer for both teams to lose. So we're going to talk about additions here.
Tie.
So obviously we signed Aaron Banks from the San Francisco Giants. He's a big body in the big mover in the run game, only 3 sacks allowed and 11,683 career snaps, as Tyler said. You're going to give me a guy that's good at run blocking, and then we got Josh Jacobs behind you who's literally going to run through your face.
Just real quick, San Francisco Giants aren't an NFL team.
Did I say Giants?
Yeah, you did. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in such baseball mode right now.
I know. It's getting close to October, dude.
I was just grinding on my Brewers notes for tomorrow, too. So, my brain is, so baseball. And I forced myself to read a few things about the Packers today because I was like, you got to get football mode today.
So
I'm everywhere, dude. And I'm reading about the Badgers football too because we got primer coming up.
Oh yeah,
my brain's everywhere, dude.
Coming, dude.
Yeah. So my fault. The San Francisco 49ers is who we signed him from. We also brought in Mecole Hardman. Christian Welch is back. What's that?
I said, yep.
Yeah, and then we brought in Isaiah Simmons as well as previously stated, and Nate Hobbs. So, I mean, the additions that this team made, I mean, fantastic in my opinion. Brian, I'll give you the floor. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on some of the additions we made.
Yeah, I talked about Nate Hobbs a little bit, talking about him playing in the slot outside. I think he adds some versatility. It'll be interesting to see where they really play him. What have they been doing in camp? Has it pretty much been Nate Hobbs and Keyshawn outside, or has it been Valentine and Keyshawn?
Yeah, it's been they've been kind of mixing up, but I saw a lot of Hobbs on the outside. Yeah, and then like Bullard in the slot.
Yeah. Yep. So hopefully, I know Hobbs brings an attitude. He's physical. Obviously, it sounds like Matt LaFleur didn't seem too happy about his injury because he's like, yeah, it was from contact on a play. And I wonder I don't know if he's referring to the couple of plays that Hobbs kind of got in trouble for at camp. But it's an unfortunate injury, but I'm excited about him. And then you talked about the dancing bear from San Francisco. I know he's had a little bit of a back issue going on. Hopefully that gets all figured out. He seemed fine the last couple of days, but with him next to Jenkins, next to either Morgan or Ryan at the other guard spot, I feel like we're going to be able to open up some holes and really kind of push on that goal line in those short yardage situations. So I'm pretty excited about Banks as well. Isaiah Simmons sounds like he seems very comfortable. He seems very happy. He's like, they're letting me focus on this thing. And what it sounds like, he's playing decent. So I think, those additions are pretty good. Mecole Hardman's made a couple huge plays in camp. I just think like the return game could become a very big weapon. And I know we have Keyshawn, but I think people might be underestimating Hardman's ability to take a spot from, obviously Bo Melton's already moved over to cornerback, but Malik Heath is he's a big bodied receiver, but I think Mecole Hardman being a veteran, a Super Bowl winner and all that, I think there's something to be said there. He knows how to win. He's been on teams that have won. The Chiefs even didn't he leave and they brought him back?
He went to the Jets for a year, I think.
Yeah. Yep. So they brought him back. They obviously saw something in him and wanted him back. And, so he's at least, something there. So I think there's something to be said about that as well. So I'm pretty excited that, like I said, I think it was definitely a net gain when you talk about our departures versus our additions.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to a few comments before I go to you, Simon. Steve said, what type of snap share do you envision for Simmons? Anybody want to tackle that?
I honestly think he has to make the team first. I'm not saying like everything that I've read about him or seen has been positive, but I still think there's a chance that he doesn't even make the team.
Yeah, I want him to get all the snaps again in preseason.
His contract screams like we're just taking a shot in the dark and see what happens.
Yeah. So for Simmons, for snap share, real quick, I think
it'd be a lot of special teams.
It'll be a lot of special teams, and I think it'll be. But if he overtakes McDuffie and holds off Tyron Hopper, I think you could see him play 25 to 30% of the snaps all year.
Yeah, I think so too. I would like
getting that athleticism on there.
I would like to use him when we're in like big versus big formations, like a 12 formation, 2 tight ends on the field. I would like to put him in the slot, technically as the corner if we're going to play a nickel defense, and you can still have your 3 linebackers and you can have Simmons out there because he's got speed to cover. That was really his MO coming into the NFL. Now, obviously, hasn't panned out to this point, but everybody on the Giants basically sucks. I mean, they made Saquon look bad. That's got to be hard to do. Let's call it what it is. So Isaiah McDuffie, his job, not safe in my opinion. I don't
think so either.
I'm a big Isaiah Simmons guy, to be completely honest with you. So I'm hoping that he can. Don't worry, Zach. I got the score up on my phone. So I'm paying attention. I think that Isaiah Simmons can take a lot of the snaps from McDuffie, in my opinion. Zach also, he answered your question. He said Valentine and Nixon were on the outside most of the time. He also said Banks was a great pickup because Jacobs was way too many times getting stopped or slowed down in the backfield. That's true. He just broke so many tackles that he would turn into an 8-yard gain because everybody else was behind him.
He was like first or second in the league in like yards after contact. It was insane.
I think he was second because I think
Henry.
Who the hell was the Dallas running back that signed with Tennessee last year?
Oh,
Pollard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he was number one because he had like 500 some yards after contact. He was just getting hit all the time and then gaining 1-2 yards.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how the Giants gave us McKinney. Like I don't get it.
Zach also said plus him and Golden speed for days. By the way, Brewers are up 7-1 now. Yep.
That's a good point. After additions, we didn't even talk about the whole draft class. Like Golden is like everything I'm hearing, like his hands and making big plays and stuff.
Bro.
Yeah.
He is a freaking smooth athlete, bro. When I watch him run routes, I'm like, bro, this fucking guy is gonna be so good.
It was Henry. That's what I thought, Zach.
He's gonna be so good. Oh, Henry was number one. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Which makes sense because
that makes a lot of sense. I probably could have been like, yeah, Henry probably led the league. I know Pollard was up there though. It was a crazy.
Yeah, stat. Pollard was good too.
So outside of that, I mean, honestly, I think the Packers did a really nice job.
Yeah.
Forgot about him. All right. So now the last thing that we're going to talk about is some positional battles to watch. Simon, I'll let you go first. What positional battles do you have on mind?
I think we can like literally eliminate specialists because there's no competition. Also, Brennan McManus is a GOAT. And then we can eliminate QB battle, unless you want to talk about the QB battle between Elgersma and Clifford.
No, I'm good.
For the practice squad spot. Other than that, I mean, O-line, we're looking at left tackle and right guard, barring health. The one thing I am concerned over is who would be the backup center, because Jenkins hasn't been the picture perfect health the last couple of years. Obviously, he's still pretty good. I don't know how many games he missed off the top of my head, but like it was an absolute disaster if our starting center is not in last year.
Monk will be the backup. I'm hoping he plays a whole lot of preseasons.
Like, so we'll see. We'll see. There was a couple bad snaps in at Packers family night. So we'll see if that gets cleaned up. A lot of competition at wide receiver snaps. We'll see how that goes. I like Matt LaFleur likes to run the wide receiver at committee. We'll see how the D line goes, especially I don't know how that's going to go. I think you have like Devontae Wyatt, Kenny Clark, and then a plethora of guys who I could see making the team or not. That's just my opinion. The edge past Gary and LVN. I'm pretty sure what's his name probably has a solid roster spot. The guy from Texas. Sorry, I'm blanking on his name. Sorrell, thank you. I think he has a roster spot locked, but we haven't seen anything from. I just blanked his name. The guy that's been injured, fifth round pick. Yeah.
Oliver.
Yeah, Colin Oliver.
I can tell you what college he went to. I can't tell you goddamn.
And then you have like Brenton Cox, Aaron Mosby, a couple of guys that came on really strong at the end of last year.
Engbar.
Yeah. And Engbar, I think he's going to get cut. It'll save the Packers $3 million. I don't think he offers a lot of upside compared to some of the other guys. I just don't. I'm not saying never, but I don't think he's making the team. And then linebackers behind Quay and Cooper we kind of talked about, and then the CB room past like our top three. I think you're looking at a few guys that could make it, and with the re-signing of Valentine, I don't know if Melton makes the roster.
That was my initial thought too, because from what I've heard of, as Micah Robinson's looked like he might be he looks okay. So I think if Bo Melton makes the roster, it's because we've decided to keep only 4 linebackers or something like that. So you might see a surprising cut there, or along those lines. Do you want me to jump in now, or do you want? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just kind of.
Simon touched on like pretty much all of them. So that's the one I'm really kind of interested in is wide receiver number 6. The top 5 are set. And wide receiver number 6 really doesn't have a spot for much more than maybe 4 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks.
Conjecture.
Back.
Watson looks good too.
Yeah, he's. It sounds like he's. I think they're going to slow roll him, but
for sure.
But it sounds like he's been looking really good. But it's really going to be interesting to see if it's Mecole or if it's going to be Heath or if it's going to be someone else. I really think the only ones really in the running are Mecole and Malik Heath. Now that Bo Melton's a cornerback. But you're right, cornerback. It's going to be really interesting to watch. After those, I would say 4 now because I feel like Valentine really kind of with what he's showing us in Hafley's defense, he probably has a pretty good hold on that position. Edge is going to be really interesting. I agree with Simon. Mbari, we'll see what he can do. I mean, Cox came out and made a couple splash plays towards the end of the season. We're not cutting either a 4th or 5th round draft pick. I know that Oliver has not been on the field. Guess what? He's a pass rush specialist. He's not getting cut. I really doubt that Brian Gutekunst is cutting a 5th round draft pick before we see much from him. Now, I could, if he has any kind of setback or if he's not healthy, I could see him putting him in IR and basically redshirting him for a year. That's possible. Tackles 8 and 9 is really interesting. I think Kadeem Telford is probably in trouble. He's had years to show stuff. He hasn't really done it yet, especially with our 7th round draft pick. At this point, he probably will get cut. He hasn't, or he might be another one they put on season-ending IR and just let him redshirt. We brought. I don't know that I can't remember the name. He was with us a couple years ago. We brought him in after we cut Sam Brown, the linebacker, and then brought in an offensive lineman today that's been with us in the past.
Oh, yeah.
He
has Patriots signed him off our practice squad, and then he came back today.
And he had some center capability.
Messiah.
Sorry, the name escapes me. I should have looked it up. But he's had some center ability as well. So with how our 3rd and 4th centers have looked in even that veteran.
Lacita Smith.
Oh, yeah, Lacita Smith. So, I think we need to see the second center, the backup center, like Simon said. Is that going to be Sean Ryan? Probably. It would probably be Sean Ryan, to be honest. But
then where does Glover fit?
Yeah, if Glover or Monk shows up. Now, I'm pretty excited to see Monk play. I liked him coming out of college last year. I hope he gets a large majority of the snaps in preseason. So those are the big ones. Really, the really big ones for me are edge and kind of offensive line. Those are the 2 big ones. The other ones we pretty much have our starters. Safeties like Bullard. I feel like he's barely holding on to that slot because if Valentine keeps showing what he's doing, Nixon and then Hobbs, nothing's really stopping them from pushing Hobbs into the slot and keeping Nixon and Valentine on the outside. So Bullard probably needs to play a lot in preseason and make sure he shows something as well. So, but I would say my main ones would be kind of how they're gonna shuffle the cornerbacks around. I would say offensive line, and then I would say the edge room. Also, last one, sorry. Interior defensive line too, with Brinson and
Stackhouse.
Stackhouse playing the way they're playing. Honestly, I wouldn't be completely shocked if we seen Carl Brooks and Wooden get cut from this team at this point with the way they're playing.
Wooden, I could see for sure.
Yeah, I don't have him on my roster.
No, Carl Brooks is staying on the roster.
He's one I could see getting cut.
Yeah.
He was one of the few bright spots in the interior last year. When Wyatt was down, he was one of the few.
We'll see. He needs to show up a little bit in preseason. I haven't heard his name all camp again.
It's still early.
For me, I'm just gonna piggyback off your comments on Bullard. I think Bullard is safe because he's such a good tackler in the open field.
Oh yeah, he's not going.
He's not getting cut.
I think his playing time is safe because he tackles in the open field. Honest to God.
Possible.
Whereas we saw what happened in the playoffs with Valentine. What happened with Valentine when he was trying to tackle Goddard? It's a pretty bad look.
Yeah, got his head dribbled off the ground.
You can't try to tackle high on a guy that outweighs you by 70 pounds. It's not going to work out good for you. Tyler wrote down, I'll just read what Tyler wrote real quick. He said left tackle and right guard, both because of Jordan Morgan. I believe Morgan is good enough to play either spot, but ultimately ends as the 6th man. However, I'll be closely watching his reps at left tackle because I believe he will be starting there in 2026, and GB will let Walker walk and get a third compensatory pick for him. And then he wrote down CB2. Hobbs is intense, which is good for football, but I've heard nothing but good things about CV. I think I'm about to love Nate Hobbs. Everything I'm reading about him, dude. He's gonna become one of my favorite players just because he'll hit you and then he'll let you know about it. So you're getting hit twice. Those are my favorite type of players, dude. So I like both those choices. I think Jordan Morgan. This is a big year for Jordan Morgan. He's gonna really have to show his value as a first rounder. Now you kind of give him the okay last year because of how Walker looked. Walker looked fantastic in my opinion for a guy that got drafted where he got drafted. But he's going to demand way too much money that the Packers are not going to be able to pay him. We got way too many decisions at skill positions.
I think Tyler's spot on with that. Is like now if Jordan Morgan doesn't show us, we might have to figure something out with Walker, because I will say there's a couple reps I watched, and I'll say there was one left tackle rep that Jordan Morgan got completely blown up and just shoved back into the quarterback. Like pretty bad on family night. I know it's just family night. I don't know what they're running and all that, but but I kind of agree that this is Walker's job to lose. And I agree with that. And I want that to happen because I would like to get a third round compensatory pick. Right. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's like, okay, let Morgan play right tackle or right guard for 1 year and then figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Let him and Belton fight for it next year.
Yeah, I like what Zach said. Anthony Belton could be our starting left tackle. I agree with that. And he's another mammoth of a man. Our offensive line could be freaking massive next year if he becomes our starting left tackle. That is humongous. And then we didn't even talk about Tyler wrote down in his notes, but we didn't even talk about Zach Tom getting extended, one of the best right tackles in all of football. So I mean, that's a great move.
I don't know if I sent you guys the contract details. Dude, the Packers are so good at giving out contracts,
dude,
to players.
They don't miss, bro.
It's insane.
Walker's gonna be like, I need some more money. I feel like I got some.
He can go get it somewhere else, probably.
Yeah, he can go get it somewhere else. He will, and that's fine. Unless he wants to take a little bit more of a team-friendly deal with Green Bay. The Packers are planning for a future without him, which is what we do and why we have success. For me, the biggest battle has got to be a wide receiver, dude. I mean, the wide receiver room is just freaking filthy. And then, you got Watson, right? He's damaged goods at this point. And I really think that the Packers, I don't mean damaged goods in like a disrespectful way, but call it what it is. He's coming off a torn ACL. He's been banged up during his career with concussions and, hamstrings and stuff. I think the Packers are going to hold him on a long time because then his contract's going to be lower. He's not going to get paid as much. You got Romeo Doubs. You got Jaden Reed, a guy who's going to have to prove himself after, not a great showing in the second half of the season. You draft the two guys. You bring in Mecole Hardman. Bryant talked highly of Mecole Hardman before about how he left and came back to the Chiefs, won a Super Bowl with them. He's got return skills. The wide receiver room is fucking loaded, dude. And I like Malik Heath. I really like Malik Heath. He has very good hands. He's a big guy, willing run blocker. That's a big thing in this offense. Wide receiver room is insane. And the offensive line, every year, we could literally just have one episode where we talk about the offensive line.
I'll say the 1 through 5 wide receivers pretty much set. Now the battle will be the playing time. Who's going to get the play?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I mean is like, who do you put out there?
Plus you have Kraft too.
And
Musgrave's healthy.
Musgrave's starting to he had some nice plays family night, and it sounds like he had a couple nice plays practices before that. So it was nice seeing him get out there and flash it. He made a couple nice grabs and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, Musgrave.
Yeah, and then running back's a little interesting too with a couple injuries to guys that are really fighting for that backup running back spot. That could be interesting to watch as well. Scott, would the Packers trade for Parsons? Yes. Are they going to? No. He is not leaving the Dallas Cowboys.
They're not going to let him go.
Jerry Jones is going to back up all the Brinks trucks.
Jerry Jones, I don't know how much you've read on that. Jerry Jones is kind of doing some sleazy stuff, and they've done this in the past where he basically tried to – did you hear about this where he's like, well, so he called Micah Parsons into his office in like March to talk to him about a leadership role. Then they got on contracts. He's like, oh, we agreed on a contract without his agent and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Jerry Jones is a sleazeball when it comes to
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
I think that they're going to give him a deal. He's going to be, quote unquote, the highest paid player for about 12 and a half seconds till somebody else is, and then he's gonna stay in Dallas. That's I
don't
really
know who else. What blue chip players coming up on a contract at edge? Because Garrett just got paid. So did T.J. Watt. I don't know what
Hutchinson is next year.
Oh yeah, you're right. Ooh, yeah. I mean,
He's.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not looking forward to play. He looked so good before he got hurt last year.
Yeah,
if he didn't get hurt, he was gonna get Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh yeah, he was
easily.
Yeah, Myles Garrett already got paid. Hendrickson just won't get paid from the Bengals.
Yep. I mean, the thing about the Lions, we're going to talk about week 1 in a couple weeks here, is they're going to now have to know what it feels like to pay these good players that they drafted, and then trying to fill out the rest of the roster. It's much harder than it looks.
Sorry, Trey Hendrickson's not going to get a market resetting contract.
No,
he's 30. He's 31. They'll find something that makes sense to both. He's going to get paid for sure, but he's not going to get a market resetting.
Who's the guy from the Jaguars? He might be coming up too.
You're talking about no, he got paid last year.
Josh Allen-Hines or whatever.
Yeah, he got paid last year, the year before.
Well, they also have Kevon Walker, but they just drafted him, so
yeah.
I mean, a guy that I think could be interesting to watch, talking about edge rushers, and we were talking about the 49ers before, I think Nick Bosa could be interesting. If they have another bad year out there, could be a guy that, he would demand so much trade value for one.
Yeah.
And if you're the 49ers, you have to get talent, and you have to reset at some point, and you're going to get a lot of draft picks.
Crosby got paid this year, right? I think he got a contract earlier this season. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, wow.
If you're talking out west, Nick Bonita from the Broncos, he's going to get paid a lot of money.
Dude, that Broncos defense is going to be nasty.
Dude,
they're going to be so good, dude.
We play the Broncos this year, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We play in Mile High, I think.
Yeah, and we suck in Denver, dude.
Yeah, we do. Every time we play there, we
suck in Denver and we suck in Pittsburgh. We have both those games on our.
What was oh my god, the Aaron Rodgers game where he threw like 70 yards?
77 yards.
Dude. Oh my god, dude. That was the most disgusting game I've ever seen.
That was so hard to watch, dude.
Literally the only game I remember the Packers winning in my lifetime in Denver is the one on Monday Night Football where Brett Favre threw the game winner first play.
Craig Jennings on the first play of the game.
Unbelievable! Mike Tirico was fucking goated on that call, by the way.
Yeah.
So I guess as we're kind of just rambling now about Packers. We have a couple more episodes coming up. Also, don't forget to join Tyler and myself tomorrow to talk the last week of baseball with the Brewers. I got some good jokes written down about the Chicago Cubs, so it's going to be a really, really good episode. And, unless you guys have anything else, I think we're good to go here, huh?
Packers play on Saturday, preseason game.
They do play on Saturday. Also, we need a couple more.
That's on NFL Network, too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So we got one more comment. I'll read one more comment. Scott said, how do you all think the Packers finish in the division this year? We will be talking about that in a couple of weeks. I know we all have thoughts. I know. I see the wheels turning already. We are going to go over the schedule and do a schedule breakdown. We have some good content planned for you guys. We have off next Tuesday, and then starting the 19th, we are just full go with Packers content till the end of the year, which ends in February. I'm calling it right now. So let's go Packers. Let's go Brewers. The Bucks are back. And and normal Packers TV. These two are out of state. So
sorry. Yeah, I'm out of state, Zach.
They have to watch on NFL Network. So anybody out of state, you can watch NFL Network. With that being said, thank you everybody for coming and joining, commenting along. And 12-5, I can get down with that. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Go Pack, go.